Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Once again, Jon Rognerud, founder, chaosmap.com. We are doing another broadcast. I'm excited about this one today because it talks about mistakes people make. And how about Facebook ads people make, right? Facebook ads mistakes, rather, I should say, that are made out there. So I call this the common Facebook ads mistakes that people make, and you want to avoid these at all costs, right? Again, thank you for watching if you are coming in live here, and if you're listening on the media and marketing broadcast on iTunes, phenomenal. Thank you for that, and thank you for enjoying all this great content, which I love to share with you. Getting some great feedback, and we just launched last week on, I said Shopify in a prior broadcast, but it's actually Spotify. And that is quite different than Shopify. But we'll talk about Shopify at another time, actually. That's on the schedule, but for Spotify. And so we're on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play and Spotify and Overcast. And really appreciate all the feedback, y'all. And we have some great new experts coming up this week and also next week on this broadcast. So keep an eye and ear out for that. But today, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about the Facebook ads mistakes people make. And this is actually from a blog post that we wrote a little while ago. And I'll be sharing that here in a second. Now, one of the things that perhaps you're not familiar with, if you haven't dug in deep on me, Jon Rognerud, I say Jon because I'm originally from Norway, and most folks here in the good old United States can't say the Norwegian expression on that. And so we're sticking with Jon because I'm not a John. And so we got that out of the way, and we're looking at my Amazon page here. I'm an author with Entrepreneur Press McGraw-Hill. And I have 3 books on search engines and optimizing your website, and also a guide on how to get people to buy from you first with social media. And so we're just scrolling through here with a good company of Perry Marshall and of course Garrett French and Jason Rich. Anyway, just a small promo here at the get-go, because I know that some of you are not aware of that. I have several books out there in the marketplace, and the latest book from Entrepreneur is a couple of years old now, but there may be another one in the works. I'm not guaranteeing that, but anyway, just type my name into Amazon and you can get it there. So let's flip over now to the actual point of this presentation. This is all about mistakes folks make, especially new advertisers. Clearly, if you're running a business, there's another level of discussion we can have. In fact, if you are listening to this and watching this, there is a prior broadcast that I made just a few days ago where I talk about fbadsreview.com. And if you all remember that, let me just actually type that in as a reminder for all you good people. And there's nothing like going live and typing, right? Always fails. Anyway, there it is. It's the Ads Account Pro product that we have available. And so you can scroll through there, fbadsreview.com. And we are opening that up in a limited fashion right now, so check it out. So let's get back to it. Lots of mistakes made. And before I start this, I should say we're using Facebook advertising here as an example, because that's the platform we're talking about. But this could easily be Google or YouTube or Snapchat. See, there are many commonalities that people get into here. And yes, there's going to be some tactical things that are very specific to Facebook, nothing to do with Snapchat, right? But if you think about it, if you pull back, right, if you start looking at these platforms, what is it that they have in common? Well, at the very highest level, we're talking about the customer journey always, right? The messaging, the targeting, all of that. But then as we kind of dive into the platform, we log in, maybe we set up an account and we start, well, lo and behold, there's something called a campaign, right? Like a top level, if you think a hierarchical structure, there's a campaign objective at the very top. Facebook certainly has this as well, right? Then you have ad sets in Facebook, ad groups over in Google Ads, the good old AdWords. And then you have ads, right? The actual creatives. And as you look at that structure, it makes sense. You have the ability to set those initial goals at the top with those campaigns, and then drill down into the specific settings, the placements, the budgeting, all of that at the ad set level, kind of specifically talking Facebook here, and then the ads itself. And so you can't get away from that, right? But if you structure that wrong, and you're trying to get everything else done right, so you have the messaging, the products, you have, your sales pages, your funnel, everything set up and seemingly working, well, it's not going to work well for you. So we'll be talking about that here today. And one of the things that we see often here is, just sort of a little bit more on this sort of precursor to the actual content here is, mindset and expectations, right? So everybody wants things yesterday, right? It's like, how fast can we get there? How little can I spend and how much can I make? Well, truly, most of these campaigns, everything needs to be tested, but most of them out the gate will not work. It's very common. In fact, some of the best in the industry will tell you that, and I'm sure you've been to conferences and heard this from stage. Good luck, right? This is a journey, and this sounds a bit negative. And maybe it is, but it's real, right? It's the truth. So any advertising that you do online is going to have its risks and pitfalls. And so I just wanted to sort of set that stage and hopefully kind of get some realism into this as we start digging in. And, there's many posts out on the good old interwebs, and if you search for mistakes folks make, there's just a list, listicles, and it's trying to perhaps hype you in or to add more and more, content to sort of suck you in. And if that is done with good intent, good for them, good for providing valuable content. What I try and do is actually speak to you about what we're seeing and also what we think you'll be experiencing once you start. Talking to sort of the beginner here today. Not so much the established businesses. It's another level discussion, which I mentioned on fbadsreview.com. So, number one, using incorrect campaign goals. Remember I talked about that? We talked about the structure and the layout and how this should be organized. Well, you get that framework, but then you get to play within it, right? So if somebody wants to get leads into their system, often what we see is the campaign objective in Facebook has been set up incorrectly. Maybe they have set up a video views campaign or, what we call a website clicks or traffic campaign when they're trying to convert to leads. And Facebook and the algo, very, very smart, obviously, and not getting any worse by day, meaning they have so much data to pull from to be able to section out, essentially, based on your campaign goal, the right audience to pull this traffic from. So if you want website leads, you want to use a conversion campaign, right? If you want video views, use what I just said, a video views. If you want to create engagement, then use a PPE or a page post engagement objective. So what you can do, you can mix and match these. And I have a prior broadcast on this where I talk about how to 10x your social proof using a combination of the PPE, the page post engagement, along with the conversion objective. Can be very, very helpful and is sort of a secret trick to many on how you can build a conversion campaign and get a lot of these assets built into it, meaning the engagement assets. So that's an absolute powerful way to go, and I'll let you search for this. Basically, just go to chaosmap.com to the blog and look up are you making these mistakes in your Facebook advertising? And as I said here, a little sort of a promo here for the good old fbadsreview.com. If you want this in terms of an expert ad review, then go right there to fbadsreview.com and sign up, and we'll take care of there. Number two is essentially thinking that one ad or a limited set of creatives is going to do it for you, right? So very excited, get everything set up, and get some level of targeting going, and then throw one ad in there, right? So basically, we know, because I've spoken about this, not every ad you create will work. Well, the key here is to actually test them and use proven ad formats for this. Don't start with all kinds of advanced, placements and types of ads. I'm going to talk about that here in a second, but go basic out the gate. If you've done your, targeting research, your messaging research, If you have you've done that right, and you have landing pages that load fast and are compliant, and we like to see privacy policies. And by the way, one of the things you should do is get very familiar with the policy guides up on Facebook ads, right? Up on the platform. You can search for that in their help section or support section. And essentially, if you are doing one ad, you're limiting yourself. And also within this, so you should create more, right? We recommend at least 2, 3 to 4. And again, this is all in relevancy discussion, right? Because budgets is going to impact this as well. But one of the things that I wanted to add to this, as we talk about the creatives and the copy and all that, is that we like math, right? Anything that is discussed as it comes to ads, we want to know and understand the metrics, your KPIs essentially. And I feel like there's also, as I get these discussions going, an over-reliance or a sort of an over-exaggeration of the discussion of, my ad frequency is this and my relevancy score is that. And, I've tried, video views. There's a lot of sort of tactical things here, and I'm not dismissing that. That should be reported on, and it's impactful, right? But, I've seen, folks come in and say, my God, Jon, I have low relevancy scores. What should I do? And, okay, well, is it converting? And we should dive in a little deeper. Yes, it's converting. Well, then don't touch that, right? I mean, watch it, monitor it. That's something that you should do on a daily basis. But don't touch that. People freak out because I read somewhere low relevancy scores, that's bad. Well, it could be, but we have to look at it, right? Again, fbadsreview.com, just head on over there. And again, combining the creatives and the copy is essential. It's almost like this. You should be able to, without copy, meaning the text without the copy, right? You should be almost be able to build out a creative, and I'm talking about a static ad right now, where it actually tells you almost by default what this is about. Now, a little bit contentious here, right? Because if you're testing an ad where a copy says X and the creative says Y, and it's actually working, well, then good for you, right? Well, out the gate, we like to see a little bit more consistency and a essential sort of connection between the ad itself and the landing page. And if you have sort of a disjointed journey there, that's going to impact your metrics. But again, testing here, that is the ultimate key to success. And as I also pointed out here, there are some things that you can do, of course, in Facebook now, which is very powerful. You have videos, you have photos, you have stories, you have Messenger, carousel, etc. All these different ways in which you can connect with your audience and have them engage. You can test all of these, and you should. But if you're brand new out the gate, just go basic. Just go for the news feed. Go for Instagram. And that's about it, right? Very limited. And we'll take you through this in some other trainings as well. But don't try and go too broad here. And again, I keep prefacing, this is going to vary from account to account. And, the truth is, if you get a very widespread out the gate, you're going to have more complexity to discuss with your teams. A lot of data points spread across different assets and placements just adds exactly that, complexity, right? And so you want to sort of limit this down to a unique experience that you control and that you can manage, and start getting some leads, getting some conversions, and then slowly start expanding that universe, right? So going fast on this, and I realize I don't have any examples here because I'm going through the blog post, but I think you get my idea. So the third one here is a poor landing page experience. No call to action and missing or incorrect pixel code. A lot here in number 3, right? The idea here is that, as I said, you have a consistency, a commitment of that message to the lander that is, specific and unique, and is driven by a clear call to action. There's no sort of bait and switch going on here. And when you do that, you also want to make sure that the analytics are set up correctly. And I'm talking about Facebook here, of course, the pixel code, but also the Google Analytics, or any analytics that you have on your site. It needs to be added to your site. It needs to be tracked on your site. And you should be able to go in and report on any activity in terms of that click path. So as the customers or prospects click through, and as they travel through your website and pages, heck, even they might click today and come back a week later. Are you able to tie back that attribution? Well, you should, and you must, right? As you know, Facebook has 28 days of that level of attribution tracking. If you want to go beyond that, we have some ways to do that. So you can reach out to us at fbadsreview.com, or literally go to just chaosmap.com. You got a couple of options here, guys and girls. I'm excited here to share this with you. This is just, there's so much opportunity here, and folks are leaving money on the table by not doing it right, but also making these obvious mistakes out the gate. And so hopefully this adds a little bit of insight and value to how you should set this up. And by the way, I talk about the customer journey, right? That engagement map, that structure, that funnel should be developed in such a way that, you know, you can not only track it, but that you can create messaging that is based on both cold traffic, you know, ice cold traffic, we like to call it, right? So they don't know you, they don't trust you, they don't like you, they have literally never been interacting with you at any level, ice cold, right? Through to the more warmer traffic where they have engaged with you at some level, and then of course the hot/buyer traffic, right? So, you know, think about that as you're developing these ads. You know, if you're just starting out, what would be a great offer and a great ad to present to your existing audience, and what would be an offer that you should create with the related content to an ice cold audience, right? Not the same. Now you can test it, and that's fine, but you're going to get higher traction on the existing audiences. And we like existing audiences, email lists, and web traffic and engagement, video watches, percentage watched, etc., because they have already shown interest, and you have a lot of capability and opportunity to actually move them through the customer journey at that level. So number 4 here, we are talking about incorrect or bad targeting of an audience. So right back to where I started at the top, you know, who's your perfect customer, your client, your patient? You want to define that person, and I'm not talking just about demographics or psychographics or technographics. All that needs to be part of the mix. But it's also part of, you know, how are they engaging with all these assets that you have developed, right? And you can only find that out if you actually do some testing and you add some, you know, get some ad dollars behind it. But there's a phenomenal tool in Facebook, the Insights tool, that you can use if you're not familiar with this for your market. Obviously, good old Google, right? And competitive research, just going out there. In fact, if you sign up or go to competitor pages, if they're running the Facebook pixel for retargeting, you'll get retargeted in Facebook. If you sign up for their you know, email newsletter, etc., you can see what they're doing. There's a lot of things you can do that goes beyond just simply looking at advertising. There's also the info and ads bit, which is the left-hand side when you log on to a business page now, where you can actually see their ads. Now, I don't recommend ripping those off at all, but you can get some ideas. And it's all part of the you know, analysis and research phase, right? And I have another broadcast on that if you want to go back and take a listen to that. That's awesome. In fact, those are the things that we do over at chaosmap.com here. And as I said, we're doing these limited FB ads reviews right now on fbadsreview.com. But also, if you just have a question, hey, shoot us an email over at support@chaosmap.com, and we'll try and help you. So ultimately then, you know, what I'm saying is, you know, if you are not targeting the right audience, you're off to a very bad start, right? You just definitely don't want to go there, right? Also, another part of the audience targeting is exclusions, and folks often forget that. The fact that you have a audience that's starting to engage with you, maybe they're buying products, etc. You want to make sure you don't keep showing those same ads to that audience. So we use what's called an exclusion strategy to make sure that we narrow down those audiences for better traction and clarity. Number 5 here. By the way, any questions on this, as I said, just shoot us an email or head on over and we'll answer those questions. We can even jump on a call as well. So, in fact, if you go to chaosmap.com, right at the homepage, there's a big old red button. You'll see a case study there, and you can actually connect with us through there. So, number 5, neglecting your ad campaigns. Very common, right? So you set them up, and it seems to get you a little bit of traction. Some traffic is coming in. You're seeing a little bit of activity in terms of the back end, and you forget about them. So that is not how you run Facebook ads or any ad campaigns for that matter. You want to have a process and a system for dealing with this. And if it's brand new, we don't want to recommend you setting them up and then every hour going in like a nervous gadget or whatever you want to call that. You want to be able to set it up based on solid research, develop your own systems and processes for this, and then let it run for at least 3 days, right? Again, it's going to be it depends on this, but out the gate, typically you want to let it at least run for 2 to 3 days. Get some data there. I see too much of this. Hey, you ran it for a day and it didn't work, and I'm going to turn this off. And maybe they spent $10 or $100, well, still not working, turning it off, right? The goal here is to be able to get profitable as soon as possible, obviously, but also to be able to scale this and to start adding rules behind this. And I put here, there are rules that you can establish within Facebook internally. You obviously can do this in a manual way, and we like that because it's definitely in the beginning something that we want to watch, especially because we don't have the metrics yet to set up the rules. But tools like revealbot.com can really help automate ads and campaigns so you don't have to babysit. But that's a whole new level. It's a whole different level than where advertisers at the beginning level should start, right? So basically that's it. Now, one of the things that can work very well for you if you are starting out, not trying to necessarily convert out the gate on the first turnaround, but you have some great content. You want to elevate that content. You know already you're seeing traffic from it. You can go to your Google Analytics and you can see, hey, we get like 3 or 4 blog posts that are bringing in 80% of the traffic to our organization. Well, hey, there lies an opportunity, right? You can dig further and find out what type of engagement are we seeing from that. Have we built out some content lifts in terms of, emails, name and email captures, etc.? What else can we tie into that? Well, what you can do now is you can actually use the Facebook pixel, right? Because yes, you will have applied that already to your website. So that's running, that's tracking, is to set aside some advertising dollars towards your articles or blogs there. And basically promote those as a soft touch, as an educational piece, as an authority piece, as a brand builder, more trust, more goodwill, right? Developing that engagement I keep harping on. It's just so important. People will even share that if it's good, right? So all of that can be done, and the sort of end result of that is you can go in and create a specific audience out of all those website visitors that engaged and read that content. And here's a very advanced tip. If you really want to take this to the next level, the Facebook pixel just renders immediately, right? So if you load up a page and it's fast, there goes the Facebook pixel. It drives the data point back to Facebook. Well, they may bounce shortly after that. So they're not actually a true reader. Well, if you have a lot of this, it's going to skew your results. So what you can do is apply some advanced scripting and let that Facebook pixel fire after, let's say, 30 seconds. And then at that point, it actually becomes a data point to Facebook, and it's a true audience. You can actually really target down and, of course, exclude all the tire kickers, if you will, that just came in and flashed up the screen because they thought it was interesting and did nothing more. All of these things that I'm talking about today, by the way, are things that we do here at the organization at chaosmap.com, and happy to take you through that. One of the things that I talked about a lot today was the mistakes that folks make with Facebook, and I also talked about the fact that we have reviews going on right now at fbadsreview.com, and I'll be putting a link to that as well in the show notes here. But again, really wanted to just kind of go fast on this to get you excited about not doing these types of mistakes and get you excited about actually getting some traction with your Facebook ads. Such a dynamic platform, such a rule breaker in so many ways when it comes to marketing and how you can create this direct response type of activity out to your audience. I mean, it's just really, really phenomenal. We love it, and yes, it can be frustrating. And if you're just starting out, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, you want to perhaps watch this video or listen to this broadcast again, and certainly feel free to go to the Chaos Map blog and search for the are you making these mistakes in your Facebook advertising posts. So Anyway, with that, I just want to thank you once again. I just love doing these, and I'm going to be putting together a lot more content, if you can believe that, coming up in the next few weeks, because I'm going to be doing some video shoots. I'm going to be doing, tips and insights kind of from the road almost here, a lot more personal connection. Definitely stay tuned for that. Again, any questions, comments, likes, shares, man, we love all that stuff, and we love you and appreciate you very much here, because this journey, man, is never a straight line, okay? So, again, thanks for joining today, and we'll be talking to you soon. Yeah.